And I figured out the perfect platform for the next Democrat that runs against Donald Trump in 2020. It's Make America Great Again. And you know, Ted Cruz, when he ran for president in the Republican primary, to show us that he had dual Canadian citizenship, and to show us that he's all-American, he gave up his dual Canadian citizenship. And I think that was a mistake, because if Ted Cruz became president, even Ted Cruz would want to move to Canada. You probably noticed that I'm blind, and I applied for guide dog. And the first thing I'm going to do if I get a guide dog is I'm going to make it bilingual. I'm going to teach it how to bark in Spanish. And they told me on the phone that they have to evaluate you to get a guide dog. And they said that this lady named Michelle would come out from Denver, and as part of the evaluation, she'd wear a harness just like a guide dog wears. And I would walk down the street with her, and I'd get a feel for what a guide dog's like, and she could sense if I would be a good person to have one or not. You know, a lady walking down the street wearing a harness, people think she's Donald Trump's mistress. You know, those guide dogs are really smart. I mean, to show you how smart they are, they only go to the bathroom on command. And that command is, oh, I can't say what the command is, because if there are any guide dogs here, they're going to go to the bathroom. Let's see. I know what I can do. The first word is do, and the next word is your, and the last word is business. So you know what guide dogs talk about when they get together at cocktail parties, you know, when they gather around the water bowl? Should we go into business together? And, you know, if they're big guide dogs like German Shepherds, they're on their own. But if they're small guide dogs like pugs and chihuahuas, they can get help from a federal agency, the Small Business Administration. Now you're probably thinking, Chihuahua guide dogs? Well, yeah, they use them for blind children Lilliputans. It's a niche market. You know, I use a white cane, and it's my ticket to freedom, because without it, I can't leave the house without it. I couldn't even find the door to get out of the house without it. So it's very important to me. And I got my first white cane the day I couldn't see the E on the eye chart, because I was afraid I was going to get hit by a car. And I guess it works, because I've never been hit by a car or an E. And these white canes they come apart. So you get, like I had it under my chair before when I was sitting down. But this is a Ambutech brand white cane. And I was having trouble separating the pieces on it. So I called Ambutech, and I asked for Ambutech support. And after a few deep breaths, this lady said, I can help you. And I said, oh good, okay, I have this problem, I can't get my pieces apart so I can collapse it. And she said, well, what you do when you finally get them apart, you put olive oil right here in these joints. So of course I asked her, does it have to be virgin olive oil? Or can it be experienced? Now, what you might have not noticed on this, I have a ball on the end of my cane. And people don't realize most blind people have balls on the end of their canes. They're used to people, you know, going like this. But when you have a straight tip on a cane, on uneven sidewalks, you get stabbed in the chest with the top of your cane. So the ball really makes it very handy for me, and it just bounces over uneven places. And I'm always getting compliments on my balls. I mean, anywhere I go in the world, people compliment me on my balls. Do you know what guide dogs talk about when, after work, when they go out for a beer, or female guide dogs go out for a glass of wine? Their owner's balls. You know, one of the things I really miss, since I've been blind, is I can't see the spectacular view in the Glenwood Canyon with its 1,000-foot high cliffs. And of course, you all know that when it has high cliffs like that, they have rock slides occasionally. I got caught in the one that had the highway closed for all or part of 6 days last year. And so I think Glenwood Springs should change its motto from the world's first all-electric city to God gets his rocks off in Glenwood Springs. You know, sometimes I think I'm not very good at being blind. I mean, like a couple of weeks ago I tried to make some French toast and one piece missed the frying pan completely. But I've got my system down now. When the smoke alarm goes off, it's time to turn over the French toast. And then I turn on the exhaust fan and eventually the smoke alarm will stop. And then when it goes off again, it means the French toast is done. Unfortunately, so is my house. But it wasn't quite as bad as it sounds, because when I told the firefighters what happened, they hugged me. And they took me out to breakfast. But, you know, I think maybe it'd be cheaper if I go out to eat. And even if I have to get my French toast in France. You know, there is one advantage of being blind. I no longer have to look at all those stupid Viagra ads in my email. I mean, I don't know why they keep sending me Viagra ads. I'm already afraid to make love in a room with a ceiling fan. I don't want to start worrying about helicopters. Well, thank you. I have an announcement to make here too. There's a group of us, Democrats, that get together for lunch every Friday at Chinatown at 1 o'clock here in Glenwood Springs. And after Barack Obama's final speech earlier this week, or last week, I realized that what we talk about Republicans, and what we really need to do is talk to Republicans. So we're going to be inviting Republicans to join us. And we'd like you all to come. And I mean, I don't know very many. I realize I know so few Republicans that I only have 2 names of people I know are Republicans in my 300-name phone directory. And you know, that's kind of indicative of a lot of people. So ask your friends to come and join us, and ask Republicans to come. And we really do need to talk to each other instead of about each other. And that's going to start this coming Friday at 1 o'clock at Chinatown. So I thank you all very much. Hey.